This year is due to be an iPhone supercycle, and the stars are aligning for massive changes in a lot of ways. In this video we have exclusive renders, details on the new chip and what it means, as well as what others have got completely wrong about the first ever Ultra iPhone. Let's go! Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. Apple has, since the iPhone 6, typically spent 3 years with a design language before a major update. The iPhone 6, 6S and 7 led to the full refresh at the iPhone 10, 10S and 10R, and also the 11 and 11 Pro with the same round edges before the iPhone 12 brought the slab sides that followed for the iPhone 13 and 14 that we have right now. This style also features in the current iPad lineup too, starting with the iPad Pro, then the Air, the Mini, and finally the 10th gen iPad in October. From the rumours flying around right now, it looks like this generation will get new materials and design, but we will come to design after we've talked performance and efficiency. Apple is expected to launch the A17 in the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Ultra, the new name for the iPhone Pro Max, if the leakers are to be believed. That A17 is almost certainly going to be built on TSMC's 3nm process, which started its mass production this week. Now, TSMC themselves have said that these chips will be up to 35% more efficient than their current 4 and 5nm chips, though the last 4nm generation, according to reports, was more of a next generation 5nm in reality. Apple typically increases performance each generation by between 10 and 25%, but the 35% efficiency improvement would be the result of taking the same chip design and simply shrinking it down to the new process, with the gains being made by less energy needed to move the electrons the shorter distances within the SoC. Typically, Apple uses these chip shrinks, however, to add more transistors to the cores, neural engines, and potentially extra unified memory too, so the physical die size stays about the same and adds extra performance. Now, on a slight tangent, if you hear others saying that the 3nm chips could come to the M2 Pro, M2 Max, and M2 Ultra, just be aware, I think that those are a little bit too close to release for that to be actually practical, and I think that the M3 generation of chips, which is most likely to be released around WWDC in June,
welcome to WWDC,
is the earliest we're likely to see a 3nm Mac. But back to the iPhone 15. And don't worry, I'll show you those iPhone 15 Ultra renders very, very soon. They are good. Assuming that Apple follows the same path as last year, the base iPhone 15 will likely get the A16 chip from the 2020 Pro models, with the iPhone 15 Pro and Ultra models both getting that brand new A17 3nm chip. Both the 15s and the 15 Pro and Ultra will likely get the new look, however. Now, the biggest beef that everyone's had with the iPhone design-wise in the last few years has been the rounded square for the cameras, along with the flat sides feeling, well, a little sharp in the hands. So, let's have a look at the iPhone 15 Ultra. And thanks to Sardis Mail for producing these renders for us. The flat display remains along with the slab sides, but then they fall away underneath the device with a similar profile to the base of Apple's MacBook Pro models and the new MacBook Air, and even the classic iPhone 5C, which at the time was described by Johnny Ive as
beautifully, unapologetically plastic.
However, plastic is far from the material that we're going to be seeing here, with the Pro and Ultra models reportedly getting titanium frames for the first time ever in an iPhone.
I am titanium.
That being said, it is certainly not Apple's first time working with titanium either. Way back, Apple created the PowerBook, MacBook Pro's predecessor, in titanium, though to make the finish look good, it was actually painted. More recently, the Apple Watch Ultra is a titanium-cased monster, though it comes in just one colour, raw titanium. Now, Apple has been filing patents for new ways of colouring and finishing titanium though, and while titanium is certainly more expensive as a raw material than stainless steel by weight, titanium is also far, far stronger, so you don't need to use as much to get the same level of durability, therefore it's lighter to get the same result. I think the math works out there. All in all, raw materials wise, it adds about $1 to the materials cost of the iPhone. Now, speaking of the colour of this thing, that is pretty much the only thing that Apple may not have 100% nailed down yet, though honestly they've probably already picked. So I asked Saad Ismail to render this in Pantone's colour of the year for 2023, which is Viva Magenta. Now, Apple's never made their iPhone Pros in a product red option, but this is kind of close and it has a kind of pink edge that I really like. Now, back to the titanium itself, it will dull the tools faster while it's being machined, so there are additional costs in terms of production and speed of production too, so they might have to actually start machining these a little bit earlier than normal. Oh, and that curve we mentioned on the back, that's where the other renders that Sam Cole and content creator I think have gone wrong.
But on the back, as rumors have suggested, Apple's going to be curving the glass ever so slightly, which not only differentiates it more from the iPhone 4 design of the past, it makes it feel somewhat unique. Now, the glass curve we did was pretty subtle just because the more you curve it, the more prone it's going to be to break, and I do not see Apple making an iPhone that just shatters on drop one.
They have put that curved surface onto the glass, which means you have a way more fragile device, whereas I think the curve will be in the band of the titanium, with the glass inlaid and protected by the titanium itself to add more durability. Now, as good as Ceramic Shield is, titanium is probably going to take those impacts way better. And of course, that glass back is needed to allow MagSafe charging, as just like aluminium or steel, titanium would conduct away the induced voltage that is going to be going through into the iPhone's coils. And while this is the Pro iPhone, or the Ultra if you want the massive one, the base iPhone 15 will likely get a similar design update, but most likely keeping the aluminium for the frame, a 2-camera setup, and getting those nice comfortable curves on the back. Now, all of these hardware changes, along with the likely camera improvement on the telephoto camera, maybe even getting that periscope lens for improved zoom that we've been hearing about, will be a great way to distract from the likely lack of new features in iOS 17.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
And that's because of the downsides of the EU's Digital Marketing Act and all of the other rules that they keep implementing at the last minute, like USB-C, which is basically consuming a lot of the engineers' time when they could be spending it on new features for the rest of the world too. Now, there have been rumours that the third-party app stores will only come to European phones, but I don't see that that's going to be likely, the same as USB-C. It's going to be a worldwide device. I don't see Apple differentiating in that way. But if you want to know my thoughts on the Digital Markets Act, I am way ahead of you. You can click up here to find out why the options that you might be getting are not always a good thing. Thanks so much for the Patreons for your support, and if you want to join the channel, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a hashtag notification squad down in the comment section, and you'll get a shout out in the next one. Latest Apple news, leaks and rumours, subscribe and ring the bell.